colleagues representing UNDP and UN Women. On behalf of UNDP, I am accompanied by Cleopatra Hunning, Regional Advisor and Gender Team Leader from UNDP, and then also Idil Apsie, Governance Women, Peace and Security Advisor from the UN Women Regional Office for Eastern and Southern Africa. And so, Madam Chair, we will not have other interventions from UNDP or from UN Women. We are speaking as one, and we will also deliver as one. It is a great honor to address this distinguished meeting to adopt the IGAD Gender Strategy and Regional Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security. I'd like to start by commending the IGAD Secretariat and Amina, who spoke earlier, for their hard work and their effort in coordinating this engagement. I would also very much like to congratulate and to appreciate the hard work of the representatives of member states of IGAD who were present in the technical discussions and who contributed substantially to the preparation of these final documents. This is a collective effort, and it is not just a collective effort in preparation of what are important policy documents, but as the UN, and you are all member states of the UN, so this is also your organization, we want to assure you that we are very willing and look forward to working with you on the implementation of the gender strategy and the regional action plan. I would also very much like to appreciate the work of my brother, Dr. Wakene, and congratulate him as he starts his second term as the Executive Secretary of IGAD. And I think you would all agree with me that he is a very effective he for she, and an example certainly for the rest of the region to follow. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we're living in a world where the factors that trigger conflict and increase fragility are increasing by the day, not only on our continent, not only in this region, but across the entirety of the world in which we live. But focusing specifically on this region, I think that it's important for us to use these policy frameworks as tools to see how we can address the challenge of climate crisis, the competition for key natural resources, managing diversity across our region, because we've seen the consequences of the lack of inclusivity in national policy-making efforts and its impact on communities and groups that consider themselves marginalized. So when we talk about a gender strategy and a regional action plan for women, peace and security, is to make sure that we find ways of mainstreaming all of these issues and our responses to dealing with these challenges effectively. On the 31st of October, we commemorated the 23rd anniversary of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security. But I'm sure that, especially as ministers responsible for gender, you would acknowledge that 23 years later, women still continue to experience significant and disproportionate challenges that hinder the full realization of their equal participation in matters of relevance to all aspects of national life. And therefore, we wish to work with you to see how we can ensure that within the IGAD region, the desired level of integration of women in various fields, including governance, the prevention of conflict, peace negotiations and mediation, become the norm and not the exception, focusing on the 4 pillars of 1325: prevention, protection, participation, relief, and recovery. The development of the second Regional Action Plan on Peace and Security is critical and timely as it seeks to mobilize the region to advance and accelerate the implementation of the WPS agenda in promoting sustainable peace and security. It also provides a framework and opportunities for member states to enhance women's leadership in these areas. And I would very much like to echo the suggestions that were made, if I may do so respectfully as the representative of an organization, but not a member state, that were made by the Honorable Minister from Uganda. If indeed it is the decision of IGAD member states here present or at another summit to focus on these areas, we would be very happy to work with you in this regard. We know that women are not just victims in conflict situations. We also know that women sometimes can be active combatants as well as peace builders. And that's one of the reasons why we think that it's important to have them present in Track 1 mediation efforts. When my brother, Dr. Wakene, and I worked together for the first time, he was then the chair of the Council of Ministers of IGAD, and I was a co-facilitator for the Revitalize ARCIS process for South Sudan. I think that we need to have many more women in the position of facilitators, not just from outside of the region, but from the region itself. And we would very much look forward to working with you to help building that executive level capacity for women's participation in Track 1 peace processes. There has been a huge amount of capacity building for Track 2 and Track 3 peace processes, which are at the community level. But if you women are not present at the national level, when the focus is on how new governments are going to be put together to support transitions, how women will be represented at the senior levels of government, how women will be involved in peace processes, what will happen is that for the most part, women will continue to be left out. And we need to be able to move forward from there. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me end with a call to action. I'm sure that you are all very much aware that we are currently focused on 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, and it's a campaign that goes on from the 25th of November till the 10th of December. And this year's theme is to invest to prevent violence against women and girls. And I would encourage all of you to join the campaign as allies in raising awareness and preventing violence. I'm very much aware of the economic challenges that all the member states of this region, but our continent also face. And it's part of the reason why mainstreaming gender, involving women in prevention of conflict, in order that we do not have to deal with these crises, is critical. Think about the number of countries on this continent where we see that infrastructure that has been built very often by taking on huge levels of debt is being destroyed right before our very eyes because of conflicts that we did not seek to prevent in time. It takes us from a bad situation to a very bad situation. And we want to avoid that as much as possible. So working with you, we look forward to making sure that we make prevention the centerpiece of our engagement, while we also focus on gender mainstreaming, economic and social development, and of course, economic empowerment, but the empowerment of women in all areas of life. And I want to assure you that the UN looks forward to continuing to be your partner in this regard, working with you and supporting you so that we move from aspiration to action. Thank you very much.